Remember, Naomi's father died while going to pick her up from school, after she insisted he came himself rather than send a chauffeur. His parents accused Naomi's mom of possibly being behind it. They also went ahead to question Naomi's legitimacy. Naomi and her mom are driven out of the house. Her mom suddenly changed towards her. Now let's continue the story as things get messier. Naomi, being a smart child, had taken an additional job as a waitress in a restaurant at the blind side of her mom. She would go to town to sell in the morning as a way of her assisting her mom, then she will go and work as a waitress in a restaurant in the evening. She managed to save some money for her school, but unfortunately, that money was just enough to cover only her tuition for that year, and affording a hostel was out of the question. After matriculation, on her way home, she saw a classmate who she used to pick up with her chauffeur when her dad was alive. The classmate expressed condolences and, upon learning that Naomi was stranded and needed accommodation, offered her a spot in her hostel. Naomi was excited and grateful for this kind gesture. Excited about the news, she went home hoping to share the joy with her mom, but once again, her mom seemed unconcerned about her supposed joy. This led Naomi to confront her mom about her sudden change in behavior, attitude, and why she keeps blaming her for her father's demise. She questioned why her family abandoned her, why she feels like a lone ranger, and why her grandparents, referring to her late dad's parents, harbor so much hatred, even questioning her legitimacy. Despite her mom's attempts to play it off, Naomi insisted on getting answers. Eventually, her mom gave in. Fine. This is what I can say. The man you grew up calling dad was not your dad, and he didn't know you were not his daughter. Your grandparents had suspicions all throughout. That explains why I always kept to myself and only showed up during special functions, all because of guilt, knowing that I lied to a very good and perfect man. My parents also did not approve of the marriage and warned me that they were going to wash their hands off me if I continued with the marriage. But I chose to ignore them, went ahead with the marriage, and decided to be responsible for whatever the consequences are. I hate you now because I know you are partially part of the problem, and I'm regretting keeping you. I should have terminated the pregnancy, Naomi's mom said. Naomi, after hearing all these revelations, was dumbfounded. Tears rolling down her face. She was able to get few words out of herself and said, "Wait, so my whole life has been a lie? And my actual father is somewhere alive or dead, and you hid this from the man I thought was my father? How could you have done such a thing? I can't live with you again, and you are never going to see me again." She packed few belongings and sought to leave. Her mother tried to prevent her, but she overpowered her and left by saying, "How I can be sure you are my mom?" The statement, "I hate you now because I know you are partially part of the problem, and I'm regretting keeping you," echoed in Naomi's mind, compounding the emotional agony. She also wondered who her true father was. Naomi left for her friend's place drenched in sweat, filled with grief and sorrow. Her friend sought to find out what was wrong with her, but she chose silence as her response. Leaving the house in the aftermath of these revelations brought about a new chapter of hardship for Naomi. Depending solely on her friend for support, she faced the challenges of an unstable living situation. The weight of her newfound reality pressed heavily on her shoulders, making each day a struggle to cope with the emotional aftermath of family secrets. Academically, the burden was equally heavy. The stress of navigating a difficult home life while trying to focus on studies created a precarious balance. The once promising student found herself grappling with the emotional toll of her fractured family and the external pressures that came with being a lone ranger in the world.